Hello, good morning. I feel a lot of gratitude to be with you today. Today, I would like to offer you tools so you can be future fit. A framework so you can better understand our world, so you can actually design your own future. I've been traveling the world for the past 30 years, meeting thousands of people, billionaires, people very poor, artists, politicians, special forces, gurus in India and gurus in the Silicon Valley, people in jail. I've been reading more than 100 books every year to try to understand this mega shift that we are going through, I believe. I would like to share with you today what I found out. I found out that our world is becoming more and more uncertain because it has become chaotic. Chaotic in a scientific sense. Our world is becoming like a fractal archipelago. First, I'm going to show you why and how our world has become chaotic. Second, I'm going to show you what does it mean, chaos, for us. And then I will show you how our world has become an archipelago, a fractal archipelago, and how we can thrive in this world. First, why and how our world has become chaotic. Our world has become chaotic mainly for three reasons. Numbers, connection, and speed. First, let's start with numbers. How many people were living on this planet approximately 150 years ago? We believe approximately 1 billion people were living on this planet 150 years ago. So we were living, our parents, our grandparents were living in an empty world. By the way, the little white dot in the middle of the picture, this is my house. This is my house in the south of France. This is a 200-year-old farm, and as you can see, at that time, they didn't have many neighbors. How many people are living on this planet today? Approximately 7 billion. We are living in a very full world today. And most probably, this is just the beginning. I don't know, next time when I come to Cracow, maybe it will look like this. Who knows? First, numbers. If you look at the evolution of the world population, it's very stable for many, many centuries, very, very stable. And then in the past 100 years, it's like an explosion. It's like humans are a virus invading all the planet. First, numbers. Second, connection. We have never been so connected. First, we are connected because we are living together. We are living in cities. Approximately 50% of the world is living in a city. But not only that, we never traveled so much. The little yellow dot you can see are planes. As I speak, there are approximately 1 million people flying in the air. We are meeting each other, traveling across countries, continents, and across the planet. And this is just the beginning. Maybe tomorrow we'll fly with autonomous cars, flying cars, who knows? And of course, we have never been so connected in the virtual world. Today, there are more mobile phones on this planet than human beings. Approximately half of the population is connected to internet. And again, this is just the beginning. Tomorrow we will be connected maybe through some BCI, brain-computer interface. And by the way, this is a nice one, because the most realistic one, it will be like an implant, invisible implant, in your brain. Any volunteer to try? This is just the beginning. We've never been so connected. Numbers, connection, and speed. Things are going faster. When I talk about this mega shift, this transition, these changes, many times my friends, my colleagues, they tell me, but Bruno, we have already been through amazing transition, wars, crises, and indeed we did, our parents did. The big difference with this transition is scale and speed. If you look at the previous very, very big transition, like when we change from the hunter-gatherer era stage to the agricultural stage, it took thousands of years. And it didn't happen at the same place at the same time. When we changed from the agricultural era to the industrial era, it took hundreds of years. So we changed from thousands of years transition to centuries transition. How long is this transition to the information age, knowledge age, communication age, maybe one day wisdom age? Decades, 20 years, 30 years. And this is changing everything because this is happening in less than a human life. We don't have time to adapt. Speed. I've been trying to show you three main technologies that are going to impact this speed and these changes. It was difficult to choose only three. So the three I chose were robotics. Robotics. Do you want this guy or this can, whatever you want to call it, to take care of your kids after school? To take care of you when you get old? I'm not sure. You decide. Genetics. For less than $150, you can buy a CRISPR kit with which you can change life, you can design life. $150. And of course, artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is also exploding like human beings on the planet because artificial intelligence can learn to learn. And if it can learn to learn, obviously, it will learn faster and faster. And by the way, it's not genetics or artificial intelligence or robotics. It's all together, how they are influencing each other. We are at this stage for mainly three reasons. Numbers, there have never been so many people on this planet. Connections, and speed. This is the perfect situation to create chaos, to create a chaotic situation. So now you may be wondering, what is chaos? I'd like to show you what is chaos in a scientific way. Chaos is not good or bad. Chaos for science doesn't mean mess. Chaos is a status, like water. Water can be liquid, it can be solid, or it can be a gas. And obviously, we are not going to interact the same way depending on the status of water. A system can have also different status. When I talk about a system, I am a system. All together in this room, we are a system. Poland is a system. Humankind is a system. Let's say different things connected together. A system can have different status, different stages. The first one, it's stable. A system is stable. Everything is flat. Nothing is changing. Then, like typically you are sitting on your chair, I hope you are quite stable. If I come and if I push you on your chair, you're going to start to oscillate. Not too far from equilibrium, you will oscillate. But things will be under control. It's like a thermostat. If it's too hot in this room, the heating will stop. If it's too cold, the heating will start. Things will stay under control, I could say. What we have learned from chaos theories is that at a certain point, things can go out of control. This is called the tipping point. And at that stage, things will start to auto-amplify. If somebody asks you, what is chaos? You can understand this is a stage where things are auto-amplifying. I believe that because there are so many of us on this planet, because we are connected and because the system doesn't have time to adapt, because things are going too fast, I believe there are many things auto-amplifying. Let's take two examples. I can say, the more people on Facebook, the more people on Facebook. If it's only all of us on Facebook, nobody wants to join, maybe your friends. But if it's more than 2 billion people on Facebook, everybody wants to join. Crisis. Before, we used to talk about cyclical crisis. Now, a financial crisis can trigger an economic crisis, that can trigger a political crisis, that can trigger a social crisis, etc., etc. Things are auto-amplifying. I believe that in many aspects, we are at this stage. We passed the tipping point. So you may ask, what are the consequences? One consequence is that things are becoming more and more extremes. Typically at this stage, I can say, the richer you are, the richer you become. The poorer you become. We think there are approximately 67 people who have the same wealth as half of the world population. Maybe one of the 67 is in the room, I have no idea. So you may wonder, at that stage, what's next? We can learn from chaos theories that two things can happen, bad news and good news. The bad news is that the system can collapse. Everything goes back to dust. This is the second principle of thermodynamics. The first city in the world that reached 1 million people, we believe, according to what we say, is Rome. When Rome collapsed, it took approximately 50 years to collapse from 1 million people to approximately 50,000. Big collapse. Still, at that time, it took 50 years, and I believe it didn't affect that much the Chinese. Because we are so connected today, I believe that if there is a collapse, it's not going to take 50 years, and it's going to affect everybody. That was the bad news. The good news, we learn from chaos theories that it can be a breakthrough. A new system, always more complex than the previous one, can emerge. According to chaos theories, we can live all together on this planet in a more harmonious way. You may think I'm a dreamer when I say that. I'm a dreamer, but that's another question. But even with facts, I can prove it to you. This is how, after the cosmos, we have reached this level of complexity. This is how life has evolved from a single atom to a molecule, to a living cell, to a living organism, to what people think is the highest level of complexity, human being. By the way, this may be just the beginning. We are at this stage. And because this world has become chaotic, we are facing amazing danger, collapse, and facing amazing opportunities. We are facing amazing opportunities if we have the right lenses to understand this world, the right tools. And I would like to share with you one tool that you can use. The right lenses to understand the world. Let me give you a couple of examples. This is the world according to Samuel Huntington. You can see the map. Samuel Huntington wrote the book a couple of years ago, decades ago, The Shock of Civilization. And I'm showing you his map because he put all the different civilizations according to him. You may wonder if you agree with him where he put Poland. I let you decide. I don't see the world like this. Where is this? Most people think this is India. Actually, if you look very closely, I took it from Paris. Where is this? This is Mumbai. This is in India. Where is this? This is not China. This is Paris again. Where is this? This is a small village, 34 million people in China. The world I see when I travel doesn't look like this. It looks more like this. So at this stage, we're like, okay, but this is like a mess. I don't understand this. I'm going to give you a very easy tool, which is called Fractal. Wait a minute. I want first to give you another example. This is a result of the presidential election, the last one in the US. This is when you look by state at the result. But if you look by county, it looks more like this. If you don't have the right glasses, you don't understand. Let me give you a practical example. 30 years ago, if you were rich, you would fly business or first class. If you were poor, you would fly economy. I believe there was no low-cost airline at the time. So it was easy. If you were like the marketing or commercial director of a big airline, you would have one colleague working for the rich people and another colleague working for the poor people. This is not how is it going today. Maybe you are flying, if you're lucky enough, you're working with a company that pays you business class during the week, and maybe for the weekend you're going to buy a low-cost ticket. Or by the way, that could be the opposite as well. So today, how are you going to address your customer who may travel sometime business class and some other time economy? You need to have the right glasses, and I would like to share with you the fractal images. What is a fractal? I've been trying to find an easy way to define what is a fractal for many years. And one day, I was giving a conference, like here, in India, and there was a couple of translators, including one, I was giving the speech in English, but it was translated in many languages, including French. And when we were rehearsing, preparing the talk, I was showing my visual, trying if it's working well, and I could hear the French translator talking to her small girl, and she said, I have no idea, I'm going to translate all these scientific things. And I could hear the little girl, because she was speaking French, she said, Mommy, it's very easy. You draw a circle, and then a smaller one, and then a smaller one. That was the picture I was showing. This is a fractal image. This is called a Mandelbrot Set, from Benoit Mandelbrot, who invented, the mathematician who invented the name. Let me show you a couple of others. There is a cross in the cross in the cross in the cross. And now you can see how we can create fractal image. It's one of the definitions, it's the same image, the same pattern, or almost the same pattern, whatever the scale. Let me show you another one. You cannot measure it because it never stops. If you put triangles within the triangles within the triangles, you cannot measure it. We need to understand fractal images for two reasons. The first one is because our world, being chaotic, is becoming a fractal world. The second reason is in chaos, life has learned how to survive for many centuries, for millions of years. Let me give you some examples from nature. If everything is working well, when you go out of this room, you'll start to see fractals everywhere, and hopefully some fractal archipelago as well. This is a brain cell. We are actually fractal ourselves. Let me give you one or two examples, almost as a conclusion, so you can use it in your life. The past was what I call a linear life, 3 stages. You learn, you work, and you rest. Well, there is a fourth one, but this is not the funny one. I believe this world does not exist anymore. I think it's a good idea that with kids at school, we give them some kind of project, work experience. Most important, I believe that you should learn. In a fractal world, in a chaotic world, one of the most important things is learn to learn. Learn to unlearn and learn to learn again. Never stop learning. I don't know how looks a fractal life, but I try to put it that way. Try to see our institution as a fractal. This is the past. You take raw material, you produce a product, then you use it, and then you throw it away. I hope most of you are actually recycling things. And this is just the beginning. Next step is what we call circular economy, blue economy, cradle to cradle. And I hope you start to recognize a fractal image. Money, currency. This is the past. This is the future. Like a galaxy of money or currencies. I would like to offer you a fractal experiment. Our memory is actually working in a fractal way. It's more efficient if you want to memorize something, instead of reading it 10 minutes every day for 1 week, to read it 10 minutes today, 10 minutes in 1 week, 10 minutes in 1 month, 10 minutes in 1 year, and etc., etc. So I prepared with you a fractal experiment. If you go to this page, you can register, and you can receive 4 or 5 emails from me, including some bonuses like how to prepare in a time of crisis, and you can feel what it is to live in a fractal life. I've tried to show you why and how we came to this point, which I called a chaotic, a fractal way. As a conclusion, I would just like to give you one thing. In a linear world, like in the past, if you want to change things, you have to be very powerful, which means you have to be the president of the country, you have to be super rich. In a chaotic world, because things are auto-amplifying, you never had so much power. This is called the butterfly effect. So please, if you like, be a butterfly. Change your life and change the world. Thank you very much. I hope, like me now, you think that chaos is your friend. Thank you very much. Take a picture and join me in this fractal experiment. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.